Now, Jean Lee, she's the director of the Center for Korean History and Public Policy at the Wilson Center. Also, Rebecca Grant, the president of IRIS Independent Research, focused on national security and analysis. Ladies, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Rebecca, let me start with you. The North Korean rhetoric obviously has made a dramatic reversal since the cancellation by the president. To what degree, more than just wanting this summit, does Kim need this?
Kim needs this, and I like the word dialogue. It means they're still willing to talk. Look, China gave North Korea military power, but they can't give Kim prosperity. So Kim has a wonderful choice. He can embrace the U.S. and South Korea, denuclearize, make a deal, and get economic development. Or he can continue to live with a very severe military pressure and sanctions. Let's hope he chooses denuclearization.
After the promotion of this summit, all the chants of Nobel, and the president saying that he could come up with a great deal for the world, Rebecca, let me go to Jean with this. Does the president need it?
The president does need to show that this declaration that he was going to do something historic was not just an early declaration of victory, but that he's going to walk away from this with something substantial. This is a high-stakes diplomacy that we're seeing play out so publicly in his Twitter feed and in North Korean state media. But let's remember that this would be historic. It would be the first time a U.S. president sits down with a North Korean leader, and he has the opportunity to change 65 years of tensions and provocations. This is something that the Korean Peninsula needs, and the South Korean president certainly has been at the forefront of this effort. But let's just remember that the Korean people have been living with this tension, this war between the United States and North Korea for more than 65 years, and they want some resolution to it.
So, Rebecca, on this question of calling it the talks on and then off and then potentially back on. The president said in response to a question from reporters yesterday that everybody plays games. Was this cancellation a play in that game, or is this evidence of what analysts say is a lack of preparation and realism about the North Koreans and their willingness to actually negotiate the nuclear program?
Well, I can tell you that President Trump's firm rebuke to North Korea strengthened military deterrence in the Pacific. And believe me, that echoed back to China. And down the road, we'll have to contend with China, too. So I think it was a good move. Now, Secretary Mattis says our diplomats and our president are working hard. There's no question. Jean is right. This should be historic, and we want to see that denuclearization go forward.
All right, so what is on the table, of course, is an important question here, Jean. There still appears to be no consensus definition of denuclearization, one that we all understand that both the U.S. and North Korea agree to. But I want you to listen to South Korean President Moon Jae-in this week in the Oval Office and his list of expectations he's placed on the president. Watch.
I have every confidence that President Trump will be able to achieve a historic feat of making the upcoming U.S.-North Korea summit successful and end the Korean War that had been lasting for the past 65 years. And also, along the way, achieve complete denuclearization of North Korea, establish a permanent peace regime on the Korean Peninsula, and also normalize relations between the United States and North Korea. I have every confidence that he will be able to make a historic turnaround in this sense.
That's a lot for this first meeting between these two men. Even the North Koreans in the end of their statement saying that there may be small steps here. How much of what was listed there is realistic?
It's a complicated process, and I am concerned that we've spent so much time dealing with the logistics and whether this is going to happen or whether it's not going to happen. But we only have a little more than 2 weeks for these two sides to get on the same page about what they're going to do at this summit. I would say that all of these goals are possible in the long term. But what they could do at this summit is declare together that they would work toward it and then map out, let their experts, their diplomats, map out the step-by-step strategy to get to that point. But the expectation that we're going to see complete denuclearization from North Korea before they sit down on June 12th is unrealistic.
And Rebecca, let's talk about this element that initially scared or spooked the North Koreans. This mention of the Libya model, when John Bolton, the National Security Advisor, mentioned it, he likely was talking about the deal that was finalized during the Bush administration for Gaddafi to give up their chemical weapons, weapons of mass destruction, their nuclear program. What Kim saw was Gaddafi during the Bush administration, the government being overthrown and him being killed and dragged through the streets. Has the U.S. put that, to use a sloppy analogy here, toothpaste back in the tube? I mean, is that now clearly off the table, although there was that double down from the vice president after the president shot it down?
Yes, and Libya is the wrong model. The right model is Ukraine. Ukraine was the third biggest nuclear power in the early 1990s. It took 4 years to denuclearize Ukraine. 1 year, very intensive negotiations led by President Bill Clinton. Ukraine is much more the model. We ended up buying back highly enriched uranium. It was a good deal for all and resulted in close relationships and integration of Ukraine into the international order. Ukraine, not Libya.
All right, quick yes or no if I can. Jean first, then Rebecca. Do the talks happen on June 12th?
I do hope that they will. There's momentum right now, and the longer we wait for this, the less likely we're going to have success.
All right.
Yes, I'm hopeful. Let's see it. I want to see June 12th.
Okay, Rebecca Grant, Jean Lee, thank you both.
Thank you.